Hi, everybody. I'm Tom LeBlanc. I'm the editor of Commercial Integrator. Welcome to another 3 Questions interview. Today, I'm lucky to be joined by Michelle Wille, who's the VP of Sales and Marketing for Marshall Furniture. Michelle, thanks for being here.
Hi, nice to meet you, Tom.
Are you ready to answer 3 questions for the CI audience?
I hope so.
Okay. So you guys are in the world of office furniture, and that world has been shaken, I think, over the last few years because offices have really migrated toward a different kind of look and feel, more open office spaces, more collaborative areas. How has all that impacted the world of office furniture?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think that we've always been collaborating in our own way. We're just now becoming more aware of it. We're seeing, I think the entire industry is seeing a major trend in the merging of technology and interior aesthetics. Furniture in classrooms and meeting spaces is very, very personal. That's going to be by the user or the facility or the department. And integrators should know that this merge is not a coincidence. It's not a trend. Integrators need to know that they should start out talking to their clients the same way that we have for 30 years, letting their clients know that they're going to be able to personalize their space. It's okay, they can do it. After all, integrators are the first responders on a project. They're the ones that are making the technology recommendations. They need to come into these spaces and speak with their clients from the very beginning to understand what the use of the space is in terms of furniture and the technology. All of this stuff can be accomplished by specifically talking to them what the use of the space is, knowing what the budget is, asking about those AV requirements. They're already there doing that, but now they need to start asking about what the aesthetic preferences are. If they start out talking about all this stuff from the very, very beginning, it's going to set the project on the right track immediately, which obviously is going to save everybody time and money. After all, if they're going to be designing a perfect system, it's not going to make sense for the customer to just settle on the furniture. Understanding that space and transitioning everybody into this concept of collaboration and the interior aesthetics and the technology and all of those combined is really going to make for a successful space.
Okay. Well, one of the things you mentioned was kind of the consulting role that integrators can play in talking to their customers about furniture. And as a furniture manufacturer, you guys are very tuned into the American Disabilities Act requirements involved in furniture and office furniture. Integrators need to also be very tuned into that, and they need to be kind of the ones who educate, their customers about what's needed, because their customers aren't necessarily thinking about it. What are some things that integrators should really be thinking top of mind when it comes to ADA requirements, and what kind of role should they play with their customers and educating them?
Okay, well, that's great question. Integrators should know that there's varying degrees in ADA, which means that there's going to be different ways to approach it. Variances are going to be due to budget, user preferences, the facility planners, and even obviously the use of technology. Integrators should know that ADA is very subjective. It's going to be broadly defined from user to user, from facility or department even. For instance, ADA may mean adding height adjust to a lectern. Or it could be making sure that the faculty members have wheelchair accessibility. It could be equal access to the technology. Sometimes the project is going to require all 3 of what I just mentioned. Sometimes it could be as little as just 1. Sometimes the project should just simply plan for everything that we talked about, and it doesn't have an actual plan in place yet, but they need to plan for the future.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you had asked about what kind of role that the integrators need to be playing. The role that the integrators need to be playing is they are the educators. We look at it as if the integrators are the lifeline of the project. They're the first ones coming in to already speak about the client, about the functional use of technology in the space. This is going to put them in the perfect position to be that educator and bring awareness to that topic which is going to help their client understand that they have these options and figure out what the best approach is for this ADA.
Gotcha. So earlier, Michelle, I asked you about, kind of the recent changes in office environments, the adoption of open office spaces, but offices have been kind of evolving since the days of Don Draper. For the past 30 years, things have been changing in terms of, how people adapt in their offices, what kind of furniture they need. You guys probably have an interesting perspective on the evolution of furniture over the past 30 years. You want to comment?
Sure. That's great. We started business in 1986, so we've been doing this for 30 years. We've seen a little bit of everything, been around the block a few times, if you will. Started out building really robust solid wood carts for really large 37-inch Mitsubishi data monitors. They weighed several hundred pounds. They were just beasts. This came because there was a demand to build something a little bit higher end, the ultimate substitute for the black metal carts that were only available back then. We continued to support the demand to dress the room, and we started building conference room tables. The very thing that we were coming in and matching, we started building the whole room then. And then from there, we got noticed and we started building and expanding our custom line. In the 80s and the 90s came the 6 to 7 foot, maybe even 8 foot wide lecterns. 2 feet of that space was dedicated to the CRT monitor. You had to build rack beside it. You had to put a large drawer in it for overhead projectors and large document camera drawers. You had to have it that big. And then fortunately came the flat panel monitor, which allowed for the furniture to be scaled down quite a bit, which is obviously allowed for space to be saved in the room, fortunately. And in 2000, we saw the recession coming, actually, and so we developed a quick ship line of furniture. And then from there, we noticed projects became very budget conscious, rightfully so. But we were actually really ready for it. The demand for the custom lecterns and the carts and high-end conference room tables were still there, but it allowed for customers with lower budgets to start having a choice and able to personalize their furniture. They too had requirements for aesthetic needs in their rooms. We already were used to building complicated, very high-end furniture, so the transition to the lower end and the budget-conscious furniture was very, very easy for us. And then at that point, I'd say, the early 2000s is when we really started to see technology furniture, and the demand for it was actually at an all-time high. Seeing all of this happen over the past 30 years, we've seen conference room furniture or meeting rooms turn into collaboration spaces or video conferencing rooms. The footprint of the furniture has decreased significantly, thankfully, to the size of technology changing. We've seen customization being required to be built on a mass production scale. But now more than ever, we've really seen furniture being personalized and becoming the focal point of the room.
Okay. Well, Michelle Wille from Marshall Furniture, thanks for answering 3 questions for the commercial integrator audience.